Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Skills Future Festival at NUS 2025. I'm Alifa, your MC for today. Our next workshop is one that speaks to everyone, right? Helping us to discover our unique strength to shape our career narrative is Mr. Jeffrey Thng, Assistant Director at the Center of Career Readiness at Singapore Institute of Technology. Let's give him a warm welcome.
Okay, just a very good afternoon. I hope you have your lunch already. Just wonder, is there a particular reason why nobody chose seats that are nearer to me? Come again? Oh, no, Brandon, enough yet. That's a good one. That's a good one. Thank you very much. Yeah, just a little bit about myself, which has been introduced already. But on top of that, just like to share that we used to, our campus is used to be somewhere here along Dover Road, if you know. But right now we are now in Punggol. Okay, so if you you're free and look for a new place to go, maybe Punggol is the place that you can visit us. We're near to the Punggol Coast MRT station. Okay, just make sure that if you have food with you, do not expose it to the monkeys that is running. Literally monkeys, by the way. Okay, and those online, hi, hello. You're not forgotten. I know there are about 30 of you online, so I cannot interact with you like this, but I hope if you have any questions, please put it into the Q&A section of this Zoom. All right, so in person, I think we have about 20 of us here. All right, so okay, before I kind of move on, so discovering your authentic personal brand, and then we have this starting about not branded enough. So maybe just let me know how do you have a brand? Those who have a brand, please raise your hand. You already have a brand, please raise your hand. Those who don't have a brand, please raise your hand. Those who do not know whether you have or not, then okay, I was just joking. But the truth is that we already have a brand. Okay, it's just that there is a little difference between personal brand and those brands that we already know. So what are some of the brands that we know? Nike, what else? LV, oh, okay. Any more? Thank you. Wow. Oh, this part's my record. You want to repeat again? My colleagues are behind. Okay, it's a brand, but the question is there a difference between brand and reputation? Same, right? What is the difference? Hi. What is the difference? Anybody? Okay. Now, yeah, I think there are a lot of things that we can find on ChatGPT, but be very careful because a lot of time, some of this information, they just pull it from elsewhere. But, lack of human touch sometimes. But I'm not against it, but I use that as well. But for, to check stuff, but not necessary to, answer questions like it. The truth is that between, we have to understand what brand is all about. It's not working. Did I do something? Okay, sorry. Okay, so what is a personal brand? What is it different from a reputation? Now, a personal brand is what you want people to understand about you. But reputation is what people already have about you. Does it make sense? Is it possible for you to have good reputation and a bad brand? It's possible. Is it possible to have a good brand but very bad reputation? Anyone got any example? Ouch. Yeah, it is recorded. So long it doesn't come from me. No, you can't see you. But anyway, okay. So we know that people that there are, okay. Let's talk about, let's say, people, right? So there are people with very good brand but very bad reputation, and I think we have seen that before. It could be like, for example, some celebrities. They have been branded so well, but some over time they fell off, because due to the things that they do. So just like you to understand for a start what personal brand is all about, it is like who you want to project okay, outwards, okay, and that particular action of building up is called personal branding, okay. Now you may have a certain reputation, and that's what people perceive your action to be. Now here's the thing that I'd like to remind every single one of us here: whether or not you're going to develop your brand, somebody is going to develop for you. So the question is, that means they're going to give you a reputation. The question is, would you like to shape that? Would you like to then communicate the correct brand of your own personal brand to somebody? Or you're going to let somebody define your brand, okay? Now, so this is a definition. A personal brand is acknowledged public perception of an individual, while personal branding is the deliberate process of creating that impression. Now, I just like to set the stage very clearly today because I only got 1 hour. When I do a personal branding workshop, especially for the undergraduates, we take about 3 hours. And on top of that, there are some other practices that we do. So I won't be able to do that in 1 hour. What I can do today is to actually take a little bit of the segment from personal branding, okay? That is to discover your authentic brand. That means you, okay? No, it's just uniquely you. And through this segment, and I hope those at home watching, okay, you will also play along with me so that you get immersed into these activities that this tiny little activities that we have, and then find out a little bit about yourself, so that it can help you in your journey of your personal branding. Okay, all right. So then, why is personal brand important? Why is it important? Your name, sir? Yes. What is important? Oh, okay. Make you look more approachable. Okay, close. Anybody else? Get a job offer. Sorry. To stand out so that you can. And so that you can. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Or make money. Yes. In fact, the truth is that you become an opportunity magnet. What does that mean? It means, law of attraction. So what you need to do is that, question is, what brand would you like yourself to represent? Now, some of us here might think that we need to change our persona. I need to be somebody else. Like for instance, if I would like to be I would like to be branded as a speaker, then I'll pretend to be like Guan. Now, is it possible that you may you may experience, difficulty or maybe very uncomfortable when you're developing a brand? Is it possible? Do you know why? It can be a clash of values, because something that you like to do may be clash of your values. Sometimes it could be because it's just not you. As simple as that. But does that mean that we don't develop the brand? No. So then what is an authentic personal brand? You see, when we first meet, it's called the first impression. And if we work together, can the impression sustain? Depends. Some people at interview, wow, super. Then join the work, like that one. It's just like you bought the wrong stuff. It's true. I mean, sometimes. So we teach, interview skills. We teach how do you, create first impression and so on. But the trouble is that impression does not sustain. It means that the brand may be a what? A scam, a fake. You know what I'm saying? So it is very difficult to pretend to be somebody else and sustain it throughout. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So authentic brand means that you can still be yourself and you are well aware that this represents you, and you can carry on without having to do any kind of pretense. Make sense? So lasting impression, sustainable impression, okay, is what we call authentic brand. So it's a sustainable personal brand. Wherever you go, you'll be the same, online or offline. I know some people online, wow, very powerful. Then in person, very quiet. Is that wrong? No. It's just that because there are certain preferences that we have. And that is the whole point of today's session, because if you understand what I'm sharing with you today, now from here, this is the stepping stone to the next level of your personal branding. then you will find along the way as you develop your personal brand, despite the fact that you may find a bit awkward, uncomfortable, but yet you understand the reason why you're doing it. There's a reason, there's a difference between you doing it willingly and you being forced to do it. The stress level is different. Okay, so I'm going to explain to you the power, your innate superpower, your personality power. And those of you, I know I can't see you, okay, but now it's just me and you in front of your computer, right? So I'd like you to do this. I have to imagine that, during COVID time, when I first start doing online, it's so difficult because I do sessions like this, and then I'm in a room by myself with a computer. I have to imagine that there are people there. There are times where I have to paste little, things cut out from magazine and put there's people that I'm talking to. Okay, but anyway, okay, this is what I need to do. Can you just lend me your hands? Okay. No, don't push the one in front of you. No, I just like you to do this. Okay, don't let go. I like to observe your thumb. Thumb. Yeah. Which of your thumb is over the other? Left over right or right over left? I know some of us need some time. Okay, left over right. Okay, right over left. Both thumb together? No, don't have. Okay. That one special case must come and see me. Right over left means you're more systematic. You're more well organized. You're a left brainer. Right over left, you're more right brainer. You are more what? Passionate and people's person. Does it sound good to you? No? No, I'm not like that. Okay. Now, whether you agree or not, since this is positive affirmation, it makes sense, that when you try things, right, you try over again. Let's just try this again. Come. And those of you who just join, come. Yeah, do this. Come. Come, do. Yeah, those at home. Okay. If you have not intentionally changed the position of your thumb, it should be the same thumb over the other. Yes or no? Why? You do this at home every day, huh? What else? Habit? Subconscious. Wow, you're getting very cheap, huh? In Singapore term is very profound. Any more? Why is it so? Close. It's called preference. So today, you have to understand the term preference because sometimes things happen in life that's not of our preference. That's where we find challenge. But the truth is that there is, let me explain this to you in another term. A lot of you are writing with your right hand. Right-hander, please raise your hand. Left-hander, please raise your hand. How many of you used to be left-hander but become right-hander? Why? Because writing with left hand is not right. Sounds funny, but yeah. But it is true because we have this assumption that what? You have to write with your right hand. So some of us begin, but the thing is that there's a natural preference. Can you write with your left? Not now. But you think that if you try to call back your, no, it's okay. That's another story. Because a lot of us, when you write, this is a natural, you cannot explain. You write with your left, you cannot explain. The only thing that that occurs to you is pain because you're yeah. Now, we all have this natural preference, but can you write with your left? Those of you who writes with your right, can you? What is the difference? Very messy, but you can do that, right? Agree? So the truth is that we have certain preference that we subconsciously, we don't even know. Let me ask you another question. When you start walking from a standing position, do you start with your left leg first or your right leg first? Gentlemen, I make it easier for you. Dari kiri, cepat jalan. But do you realize that why people in the army sometimes go right first? Because it's their natural preference. And these are the people who get us into trouble. They cannot march properly. Now you know it's not their problem, it's just that their natural preference. We all have our natural preference. And if we don't understand that we have this natural preference, we will continue to think there's something wrong with us. Why are we not the same as the rest of the people? But to begin with, ladies and gentlemen, each and every one of us here are unique individuals. Make sense? Okay. I'll allow you to do this once more. Just trust me with that. I'll allow you to swap your thumb. How does it make you feel? Awkward. Some of you give me that disgusted look. How does it make you feel? Just the thumb. If you not you and things like that. So do you agree that sometime in life we have to do something that is not of our preference? We can do it, but it's not our preference, but we can still do it. Yes. Yeah. So I like to share this with you also, that sometimes in life we have to do things that we don't prefer to sustain the things that we want to do. That goes with your personal branding as well. Now, sometimes, for example, if you brand yourself as a thought leader, for example, you need to go out and give speeches, you need to do some kind of video, or you need to go and conduct lessons like this, because to share your expertise. Yes. So then you have to train yourself. All right. But today, what I'm going to share with you is actually based on something called MBTI. Have any one of you done MBTI before? Have not done? Have done, but on the free site. What's this website called? Wonderful. This is not MBTI. Oops. Oh, you already know. It is not MBTI. If you read their white paper, 16personalities.com is not MBTI. What they did was that they actually took the terms from MBTI and they have their study of their own. So they only adopted the terms: introversion, extroversion, sensing, intuition, and so on. So if you go and the funny thing is that it is so widely accepted, even in China and Korea, and they actually made a show out of it. It's not true. I work with Myers-Briggs, SIT works with Myers-Briggs since 2016 to today. We have been using the authentic profiling assessment. The one that they gave you for free. Why? Because they need the data to support their studies. So theirs is based in the original MBTI, the DOG is actually from Myers-Briggs, okay, Myers-Briggs company, and it is based on the study of a Swiss psychiatrist Carl Jung. And for them, they are using a different. They use traits. This is type. I don't want to bore you with all this psychological term, but I just want to tell you there's two different things. Okay. So MBTI preference pair is very important for us to understand why. I'm not telling you MBTI, they don't pay me to do this. I'm not selling, I'm running this on behalf of SIT. I just want you to understand that number one, all these type tools cannot define who we are. It cannot pigeonhole us, it cannot categorize us. Yes? Because humans are so complex. It can't be like just 16 types. Yes? But we need something to give us some insights. Agree? So if this is the best and the framework that we can refer to, not this is the best, but one of the best framework that we can refer to, then it can help us understand ourselves. Okay, so then we'll know why we do the things that we do, right? So the first pair, okay, is opposite ways of direct and receive energy, extroversions versus introversion. I'll go into a little bit of details and get you to do a little bit of activities in a short while. All right, next one, sensing versus intuition. Opposite ways to take in information. All right, next pair, thinking versus feeling. Opposite ways to decide and come to conclusion. What does these two sets are very closely related. This is to take in information, and this is to process the information and make a decision. Okay, and last pair, you have judging or perceiving. Opposite ways to approach the outside world. This one can be quite interesting because this is how we interact with the world. All right, so I'm going to go into a little bit of details. Now, we are not doing the actual profiling here, but you can actually have a little bit of insights that, hey, maybe I'm a bit of extroversion, maybe I'm a little bit introversion. All right, maybe I'm a bit of thinking, a bit of feeling. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so what we really want to understand is to how we align our brand, okay, with what we find most natural, and this is other preferences. Okay, so we mentioned about preference. Okay, first pair, extroversion versus introversion. Okay, the natural focus of extroversion is the external world, means that this person who's, okay, we don't call them extroverts, because this one is like stereotyping. We say somebody who prefers extroversion likes to bounce energy. So if they come to this kind of setting, they'll probably kind of be a little bit more comfortable chatting with people. Hey, how are you? You know, where are you from? They'll start to, they need the energy because too quiet, it's very difficult for them. Silence to them is very scary. They need to break the silence. Number two, people prefers introversion. The natural focus of introversion is the internal world. So you see people come in, they'll sit at one corner and they try not to be discovered. They will try to be off the limelight. They try to be somewhere that they can actually feel safe, and then they'll try to, because these people, they prefer to reflect. The energy comes from their own internal reflection. Okay, now how many of you, okay, if you go to a networking environment with lots of people, you feel super excited? How many of you feel very super excited? Ah, good. Can you hear that from her voice? Okay, how many of you feel that it's very draining? I have to talk to this person. How many of you okay lah? So can lah, can take it lah. Okay, I must tell you something. Number one, if you straight away put up your hand, it's because you know that's very draining, and then you need to work with different people, and then you feel that it's very draining. And then for me, it's the same because I prefer introversion. Then you say, oh, Jeff, you sure? You don't look like an extrovert. Now I have students who stood up in class and say, Jeff, you're not you can't be an introvert. I said, why not? No, you cannot be an introvert. I said, why not? Because you're a trainer, but your trainer must be, be able to, talk like extroverts. Right? I say, this is my job. But it doesn't mean that my personality has to be that. Because there's a reason. Okay, we always say that, oh, because I'm like this, that's why I need to do this. In this concept, it's not. It can be an introvert, but there's so many powerful introverts around the world. I think you probably heard of some. So for me, this job is something I love. And because of that, I have certain learned behaviors. Means I go for training, I go for upskilling and stuff like that, like some of us are doing right now, so that I'm able to do the job that I love. Is it tired? Yes. I do a 1 hour session, I'm going to rest for 3 hours. No, seriously. Seriously, I do the whole day workshop, I'll crash in the Grab car, and then by the time I reach home, the Grab driver got to wake me up. And I don't drive on those days because it's really very tiring. You can fall asleep on the wheels. So, and I was trying to convince the student, and you see, the thing is that people prefers extroversion. Okay, it's not that because you're very sociable. It doesn't mean that you're sociable. Remember, extroversion and introversion got nothing to do with being sociable or not. It only means that you prefer to contain your energy. For example, if you walk past, if a person who prefers extroversion walk past an office cubicle, look at somebody sitting there, what do you think he will ask? How's your day? Okay, want to chit chat, right? What if that person is an introvert? Someone who prefers introversion. Is either that or inside still processing. You know those window are still functioning. They are still processing, and then inside then don't stop, don't start, don't talk, don't go away. Some of us, yeah, that's me. My office got a lot of people, or my family. Yeah. So can you imagine introvert in an extroverted family? Can you imagine an introvert in an extroverted office? Now here, I'm not saying extroverts are not good. It's just that the kind of energy is different, because extrovert needs the bouncing of energy, introvert needs to contain the energy and how you interact with the world. But here's the thing. Do you think that people who prefer introversion can also be very sociable? Yeah. Where? Thank you very much. Because you don't have to see the people. Do you realize that people who post the most and write the most and do the most, people prefer introversion, they do that, they are so powerful. In a meeting, everybody very quiet. You know why? Texting. People prefer extroversion. They're texting. It's very noisy, yeah. And then the best part is the person is just sitting next to him or her only. So it's very important to understand that it doesn't mean that you have to be extrovert or introvert to do something. You have the power to decide because you are uniquely you. Now, okay, so based on this, and those of you at home as well, I have not forgotten you. How many of you think that you prefer, okay, this is either you have to choose one, either one. You prefer more of E, extroversion. After this short explanation. You prefer I after this. Okay, thank you very much. Those who cannot decide, fine, no problem, okay? Next, sensing or intuition. Now, people prefer sensing, likes to do step by step. They're very detail oriented. They need sequence. They watch K series, Korean TV series. They must watch season 1, episode 1 onwards. They cannot start season 5, episode 5, you know, the kind of thing, watch back. They cannot. They just cannot. People prefer intuition. They are more of the big picture. They just, you know, they can watch the first episode and the last episode, they can tell you the whole story. Do you think this group will have some kind of a challenge? They do have, right? Yeah, I'm risking my life because she's not here. My wife is not here today. I'm risking my life. I'm going to tell you a quick story. Okay, me and my wife, when we first got married, okay, I want to be a good husband. Anybody, I mean, any guy, right? So one of the things I like to do is to actually help out with the laundry. So, are you married? Okay, your time will come. Don't be. So what happened was, I have a, you know, so I took out the laundry, and then there's an arrangement. I cannot touch her clothing because the ladies one come in all kinds of materials, right? You don't have the S size become mini S size, you know, that kind of stuff. So I don't touch hers. So I only settle mine. So I had this washing machine. I threw everything in, and then I hang. I've got 6 bamboo sticks, and then I hang everything else, and then we're left with 2 t-shirts. What do you do with the 2 t-shirts? What would you do? No, just finish. You didn't need to hang for dry, but no more space already. Overlap, squeeze it. What else? Okay, yeah, hang and squeeze somewhere, right? That's what I did. That is what I did. I hang on I even use a hanger, hang. So you see, I'm so proud of my work. I even color code the pegs. So I walked off the kitchen and she walked in. So I will slow down. Here people who prefer intuition. They're very visionary. They envision that there is a kind of compliment coming in. So I went in, and then I slowed down, and then she came, and then at the side of my eyes, I can see her do this. Then she asked a very important question that I never imagined she would ask. Who hang one? It's a very strange question. Because it's just 2 of us at home. Get it? I said, yeah, I hang one. So I thought, why hang like that? I said, hang like what? Why hang like that? I said, hang like what? Why hang got, you know, 2 extra pieces, man? I said, I wash extra. Lor. No, there's 6 bamboo sticks. You can actually, maybe 5 pieces on each bamboo stick. So 30 pieces, you just wash 30 pieces. I said, wow, I didn't know. Oh, I got to do math. There's a step-by-step process. You need to first evaluate the sequence or whatever, and then you have to do it. Okay, good. Second time. The next following week, I do again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 30, close. I hate to admit it, but she's right. Just nice. I walk out of the kitchen, she walked in. This time, I don't even bother to slow down. I stopped. Then she say, who hang one? Why you hang like that? Hang like what? It's really 30 pieces. Why you put all the jeans together? I said, you know, at times like that, you give silly answers. The silliest answers I gave was because they look the same. Dang, wrong answer. She got pissed. Why? Ladies, why? I put all the jeans together on one stick. Thank you very much. Yes, because it's very heavy for her to remove. Get it? So yeah, so we're still married. 19 years. So here's the thing. You realize that actually either you can take it as contradiction or you can actually complement each other. So somehow you just have to find a way. All right. Now, so people prefer sensing, more sequential. People prefer intuition. They're more big picture. Sometimes they have this challenge of what? They look at the same thing, but they see different things. Have you ever had that kind of thing before? Like I see the clothing, it's like clothing, but she sees it as math. So the next time, if you ever want to start a project, every time you want to start some group work, you realize a lot of group work go out of the way. Why? Because when it first started, they thought everybody is on the same page, but no, nobody's on the same page. Because we take in information very different. So in my MBTI class, I will show my participants an abstract art. People who prefer sensing, they almost throw the chair at me because they cannot see anything at all. They can say this is a mess. But when I show this to the intuition, they love me because they say, wow, this is so touching. Which part of it is touching? So they are able to make connection. So people prefer intuition. They are very visionary, all right, and they are able to link pictures. Next one. Okay, I'm going to tell you where I'm going with this. Thinking versus feeling. People prefer thinking. They use more of their head. People prefer feeling. They use more of their heart. Which is correct? Why? Okay. What about thinking? Thank you. The keyword depends. You know, there are times, there are times where we make, for example, have you watched a horror movie before? Like ghosts or zombies and stuff like that. Have you seen people who spend how much? Okay, I just watched the Jurassic thing. It cost me about $10. People spend about 15, $16 on a weekend watching movie behind their fingers. Have you seen people like that? Okay, so people who prefers thinking, okay, do you think they will do this? People who prefers feeling because they invested their values, their feelings, or they put themselves in the shoe of those in the movie, and that's why a lot of time they are the one who get scared. Yes, and guess what? These people tell them, you spend $15, cover up your eyes. You don't know this one fake one, man? Have you seen people like that? They're very logical. This is fake one. This is all AI. This got green screen, whatever. This one, da, da, da. And the worst part is sometimes they will tell you the whole story. They're the spoilers. Because they are very logical and analytical, and they are the ones who will make decision. Not that they are not considered with people, they just make the decision based on the task. But people prefers feeling, they tend to what? Invest in their what? Their own personal values. They want to have harmony. That's why they want to make sure that everybody's goes well for everybody else. Now, whether right or wrong, it depends. If you're making a business decision, which one will come first? Thinking. And if you are dealing with coaching, for example, which one will come first? Yes. So it depends on the situation. Now, I'm saying all this is because if you are intending to create, some of us here might be looking at being a coach. Maybe you have many years of experience and you would like to go into the coaching career and you would like to establish that brand, then this is the part that you have to be very clear. Why? Because you do not want to assume that the person that you coach understands exactly your logical analysis is. Because to them, maybe it's not important, but to them, being able to being empathized with will be more important. Understand what I'm trying to say? Okay. All right. Last but not least, judging versus. Okay, hang on. How many of you feel that you're more of the thinking type, the logical type? Okay. What about the more feeling type? Okay, cool. Remember that, huh? Okay. Next one. Judging versus perceiving. This is very interesting. We all have deadlines. Any teachers here? What are deadlines to students? Huh? Deadlines, what deadlines to them is like rubber band or hard and fast? Rubber band. Same thing. Every time I give a deadline, I must have a deadline. Because otherwise I cannot meet my own deadline. You know what I'm saying? Now, at work it's the same. When you have a deadline, now there are two how we approach the outside world. People with judging, right? They organize their life very well. They have a sequence. Let's not talk about right or wrong. They have their sequence. They have the way to do certain things. For instance, people prefer perceiving, okay? For instance, they're very spontaneous. They interact the world is like the world is full of options. For instance, they can start something, okay? They can start doing something, okay? I need to meet my friend at 1 p.m. Then they start doing something. Then they say, Okay, wait, I still got time. Okay, so I'm going to take out the trash. Take out the trash. Then as you're going out to the trash, then you saw a piece of paper on the floor. I need to pick up a piece of paper. Put already, then there's a pen. Take the pen. Oh, there's a Sudoku on the newspaper or whatever. Okay, take and then do halfway. Ding dong, grab come, right? Can collect. Then one whole round later on, they was like, what they started out doing? What was I doing just now? Because they are being led by options, too many options. Now, people with judging, right, when they are given a task, they will actually focus on the task and they will have what? Steps to do it. And the best part is they like checklists. Every time they finish something, they'll check it off. Then they'll check it off. Then they'll check it off. At the end of the day, they look at their checklist, they feel so good. And they have a checklist of checklists. Okay? So people who prefer judging and perceiving, it becomes there's a little bit of conflict when it comes to what? Deadlines. To judging, deadlines is a deadline. But for perceiving, deadlines is just too rigid. There must be some option. There's a worst case scenario. Which is better? Same thing, depends. If you need to meet a hard deadline, of course, judging will keep you on track. If the hard deadline has got some out of the world or kind of circumstances that came up, right? Perceiving the spontaneity might just help you in time. You understand what I'm saying? But can both meet the target? They can. For example, for judging, they have a sequence of things that they do to meet the deadline. For perceiving is they will do every other thing except for the things they're supposed to do for deadline. It's only until the last minute, just in time, then they'll complete the thing. I think that explains some of us during our study, when we're doing our homework or whatever. Suddenly you study for the whole semester, you don't understand a single thing. But the day before the exam, everything becomes very clear. Because we prefer more of perceiving, we cram things together. Now, by understanding okay, so how many of you prefers judging? You think you like things in order, you do things, you have the sequence. Perceiving? Just in time? Okay, thank you very much. There's no right or wrong, good or bad, okay? This is very much on helping yourself understand. So once you have that, you should actually have four letters that represents your type on the MBTI 16 personalities. Okay, one of this. Now, I'm not saying that you're being, I just want to repeat this again. I'm not categorizing you, but just to give you that understanding, this will give a bit of insight. So for me, I'm an INTP here. Okay, INTP. So there is a reason why they keep reminding me I need to keep to time. I will show you the 5 minute later on. Okay, so this one, okay, there are 16 of them. We fall into one of them. The question is, which one do you find most what? Comfortable? Okay, and once you know about your personality type, how do you move forward? Let's try a little exercise. Now, say for example, you are an ESFJ, and you are going to brand yourself as a coach, and you have an INTP staff at the workplace. That means you are a manager of this person, and you manage this person, and you want to brand yourself as a coach, a person, a coach in a workplace. What are some of the challenges do you think you encounter? Based on your understanding so far. Okay, broad stroke, right? Okay, going deep into it. What about communication? And which part of it were affected? The J and the P. So this one, the coach maybe have certain deadlines they want them to follow, right? But it was not able to meet. Okay, that could be one anymore. Like how? Thank you very much. Yes, personal space. People prefers introversion, prefers personal space. And do you think that during this coaching, it will be better if the person is in the room, one-on-one, or is it out in the open, like open workstation? Which one? Which one do you think works better? In a room, right? Okay, cool. But given the natural preference of the coach, he will prefer to be out in the open and then quite loud and things like that, right? So this coach here needs to pick up certain skill set. What are some of the skill set that this coach needs to pick up? Come in. Sensing doesn't mean sensitive, huh? Sorry? Empathy. What else the person needs to? Awareness of what? Okay, the other perspective, okay, any more? Non-verbal cues, okay, good, because we cannot read the person's mind, but we can actually kind of like read the behavior and see. For example, if you've been talking to this person too long and the person keeps moving away, or the body language tells you that they are trying to defend themselves or whatever, then you know that maybe you could adjust your levels. But all this has to come with training. So the point that I want to bring across is, ladies and gentlemen, that if you would like to brand yourself, there are things that you need to do, not just because I'm an INTP, I'm like that, I cannot change. Because I'm an ESFJ, I'm like that, I cannot change. People got to get used to me. Or I just do this. No, not true. So if you have your innate superpower, for example, ESFJ or INTP, or maybe other combination, that is your superpower. But all superpower comes with what? Strength and, I don't call it weakness, limitation. You understand what I'm trying to say? So why is it so important that I start, for this particular authentic brand is because if you start, okay, a lot of branding exercises or campaigns starts with self-awareness. You like it or not, they'll start this, it could be a different tool, but you start with self-awareness. They'll understand a little bit about your skill set, your values, and so on. But there's one thing, skill set you can pick up. Okay, value is very personal. One of the things that is something that is you will be a personality. How do you interact with the world? How do you perceive the world? How do you work with the people around you? So if you would like to, create a brand for yourself, then ask yourself, what are some of the skill set that you need to pick up? For people who prefer extroversion, they can. Do you think that they can talk very well? Not necessary. Remember, it's their energy, it's not their sociability. So they can, they can, sometimes they don't like the silence, they crack jokes and things like that. It may not be appropriate. People who prefer extroversion, sometimes they speak their thoughts. They say, you're talking to me. No, I'm talking to myself. Okay? But people prefer introversion. If they are not able to express themselves at a meeting, what is the usual thing when I say introvert, right? I point to the person. Can you tell me something? What do you think usually is the behavior? They'll keep a distance, they'll withdraw, they keep quiet, yes? Does it mean they do not know? No, they're processing. But many times, this has been interpreted that, don't know, non-contributor. So people prefer introversion. If you like to be a thought leader, if you like to take up leadership role, for example, if you like to, do coaching and stuff like that, you need to start to learn ways for you to get out of, to flex. We call it flex, huh? Okay, flex, flex muscle, right? So this is another way to explain something called adapt. You need to adapt the strength, you need to adapt to the style of the other person. But you will not be able to do that if you do not know your own style. Because one of the things that I really want to share with you is influence others the way they prefer to be influenced. You need to flex. Now, what is a brand? A brand is not with titles. PhD, if you've got PhD, no, I'm not against PhD or whatever, okay. You have all the titles and all the medals and badges and stuff like that, your certificate and stuff like that. These are just like, it's nice to have. But the truth is, what is a real brand? A real brand, people remembers not what you have and did, but people remembers how you make them feel. So an authentic brand is, no matter which industry you're from, no matter which expertise that you have, it is what you can do really well. But how do you use this coupled with your own authentic brand and serve the people? So you don't carry a brand and say, oh no, I'm branded, yeah. So you can actually see that a lot of time we just want to ensure that we trying to take up courses or upskill just to get a certificate. Not really. But how can you then use this and continue to upskill? That's the whole point of this whole festival, right? Continue to upskill and learn new things. And one of the things that maybe you can look up is called growth mindset. Growth mindset is actually coined by Dr. Carol Dweck, okay? And she actually did a study with the people who are successful. You know, there's a fixed mindset and growth mindset. So in short, fixed mindset is when you think that success belongs to those who are talented. Success belongs to those who are lucky. Growth mindset means that maybe I do not have it yet, the success that I want, but I will work towards it. Because if I have to put in more extra hours and stuff like that or learn from more people, I will do that because I will be successful eventually. So that's the two difference. Personally, I don't believe in luck. If you believe in luck, then we can buy lottery. But the truth is that if you would like to assure success, then of course you may want to create your own success. Okay, if you like to have a brand that represents you, the true you, and at the same time able to influence people to do the good stuff, like, you know, maybe you have been in the civil engineering for the longest time, and this time around you want to be a coach. You have that vast amount of, it doesn't mean that because you got experience, people will listen to you, right? It's how do you translate all this through your brand, through your authentic self, and coach the person? Can you do that? Let's say, for example, you have been in the, you have been the VP, the vice president of some company or some, high flying position. Now you would like to do something like a tiny mini business or to just teach kids or whatever. Then you got to learn a different set of skills. How do you then? Because they will not function like how your stuff functioned in the past. Because these are kids. Okay, so my final words for you is really that, the brand that you develop is to influence who? Those that you would like to influence. And the only way that you can do that is to understand who you are influencing and then ask yourself, do you have that skill set to make that, decision or to help you? If you do not have, then there's a large number of courses out there that can help you. And one of the things that I learned yesterday at Conrad Hotel, MBS, okay, we have this industry mentorship program, Singapore Institute of Technology. If those of you on LinkedIn, you probably search and you'll find it. So we actually have mentors who have been in the industry for the longest time, and they're actually giving back to the society by mentoring our students. The question is, maybe some of you sitting here could be a mentor. Okay, but maybe there are certain aspects that you think that you might want to work on, yeah, so that to be an effective mentor. One more thing, we talk about strength and limitation, right? But do you realize that when you overplay your strength, what will happen? It becomes your weakness. Okay, so when we overplay our strength, it becomes a weakness. For example, you like cleanliness, but you're too clean, right? Every day, people take away the cup, you clean. People move the chair, you clean, you spray. This is a bit overplay, right? So sometimes when we look at ourselves, sometimes we have all this skill set and all these things, but then when we oversell it, the brand itself, then you're just selling all those titles and certificates, but not necessarily yourself as a person. Okay, so yes. All right, so these are some of the things that I'd like to share with you. Nothing, it's not rocket science. But a lot of time, personal branding pitfalls include things like you try to be somebody else. Oh, because this person, the live streamer is so good, I want to be like that. Because this person is so famous, I want to be like that. But it's not you. So always start with yourself, all right? And like I mentioned to you, you need to learn new things, okay? And of course, when you learn new things, it doesn't happen overnight. If you want to be a coach or mentor, or you want to be a teacher, you want to be a child care educator or whatever, it doesn't happen overnight. You need to learn new stuff, new skills, and put into practice. Okay? Okay, I'll leave you with the quote. Authenticity is the daily practice of letting go of who we think we're supposed to be and embracing who we are. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are unique individuals, and the people around us are also unique. So, beside understanding that our own unique individual, we have to understand that the people we work with, they are not against us. It's just that they have a different style of working, a different style of communication. Well, everybody is a good people. So, how do we then work together? Okay. Okay, so this is me, and if you'd like to connect with me on LinkedIn, this is the link. And I just realized that the time queue was outside, not inside. I suddenly saw this gentleman floating that card up. I said, oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. So, okay, just in time, 10 minutes. Poof.
Thank you
My
for
tongue.
such a sharing.
Yeah.
Okay. So for now, we will open the Q&A to the floor. If you have any questions, you can just raise your hand and I will hand you the mic. For the online participants, please input your questions into the Q&A function in Zoom. All right.
Any questions?
Hey, Jeffrey, thank you for the very insightful sharing.
Thank you. My
Just
pleasure.
a question, because
Yes.
like you mentioned about do not actually copy someone. But as in your professional opinion, of course, sometimes I would prefer to call it quote modeling unquote. Like for example, if I have my aspiration to say I would like to be a very good public speaker, then I model myself over someone who is generally quite well known in public speaking.
Yeah.
And then I emulate what he or she is like. I mean, wouldn't that not be copying, but as what I call modeling? What's your thoughts on that?
Yes. Thank you very much for the questions. I totally agree with you because you actually did the differentiation, copying and modeling. Copying means that you try to do 100%. Modeling means you take it as an example, but you will add in your own style. That's different. Because even for myself, in the earlier days, I have to model after somebody who is, because I by nature is introverted, right? I prefer introversion. So if I were to go out there, I'll feel like I'm not so what do you call that, confidence. Okay, yeah, I think there's some feedback. So modeling, there's another concept known as NLP, neuro linguistic programming. So that one recommends modeling because then you're able to learn something from somebody. But it doesn't mean copy. It only means that somebody has done it already. Maybe you'll try to find out exactly what the person did so that you can model after the person, but not to copy the other person. Okay, so I truly support modeling because we need to have some role models. But if you go to a state whereby you have to copy in such a manner that it makes you feel very uncomfortable and you're trying to live up to that, I think it's very sad. Thank you. Okay, hang on. Oh, okay. What do you mean that MBTI is not true? Do you mean there's some... Okay, the questions... Whoa. I think you may want to lower down the volume there. Okay. 16personalities.com has got something called MBTI, and he has got very nice little pictures and avatars. Okay, that is not from the original company. There's a different company, have a different set of studies, but they use the terms. Okay. Can one be both INTP and INTJ? Yeah, so that is the reason why when we conduct workshops, MBTI workshop, we help participants clarify which one do they prefer. Because sometimes people prefer introversion, for example, they act like extroverts. It's not because they act like extroverts, it's because the work requires them to do that. Some people, over time, they flex so well, they adapt so well that they become the other side. Like my boss, I hope she's watching. She's here. She's here somewhere. But okay, my boss, she goes around and then she's really bubbly and nobody believes that she prefers introversion. But based on the report, she prefers introversion. It's just that because of her line of work and her ability to adapt, right? That is how she's being perceived that way. Yeah, okay? Question? Yes.
Today, especially for fresh grad, how do they display a personal brand in a digital world besides LinkedIn?
Okay. So first of all, before they can kind of display themselves on the digital world, they need to clean up first. What do I mean by that? Because a lot of time, even for students, every time when I run workshops like this, right, I will tell them that first of all, check your not LinkedIn, check your Instagram or whatever that you have in the past. Do you have any post that is very very controversial, very concerning type, because that will actually come back and bite you. So if you ask me, before all this, they have to clean up first. Yeah, because they have got no idea. Sometimes I can't say it's their fault. It could be because they're ignorant to such kind of, people take this very seriously. For them, maybe it's just for fun. But for a lot of youngsters, actually, they just think that I can speak my mind. This is a free world. It's a freedom of speech. But freedom of speech comes with a price when it's being taken out of context. Correct? So on top of the graduates, right, I feel that, even now, they should start to work on LinkedIn already. Because the truth is that it's no longer the time where we say you finish your study, then you, after you got a degree, then go to work, and then you establish your network. No. In fact, right from year one, we have already gotten students to go into LinkedIn, establish a presence, and start to, kind of build up their profile, and also to build up their brand. But of course, for a start, they are quite, they do not know what their brand and so on, but at least they start somewhere. Yeah. So as they move on, and at least they know that they can start to add in, they understand which industry they are interested in, what role they would like to play, what kind of brand they represent. And that is where you don't have to start afresh, but you already build up already. And students from SIT, for example, because they go out for 8 to 12 months of work attachment, is equivalent to real work experiences already. So all this kind of help them build up their profile in terms of qualification. Yeah. Then in person is very much on the CCA they took up, the kind of student ambassador things that student ambassador events or activities they do. Does that answer your question? Thank you. Okay. Hang on. Access to lecture slides. I'll leave it to the recording will be shared. Okay. Okay. Can you cut apart the part of my boss thing? Can personality type change over time? Can we become extroverts over time? This is a very good question. This is something that I usually address in class, but because of the time, but I can answer this. Personality, do you think can change? Let me give you an example. I still got time. Let's say we have been through the 11 years old stage, right? Primary 5. So this primary 5 kid sits in the classroom. Math lesson by Miss Tan. He makes a lot of noise because he's very bubbly, ma. Then he talked to the friend on the left, on the right, behind. Then over the whole week, right, Miss Tan cannot take it already. Send him out of the classroom, stand by the cubby hole, go through the whole math lesson through the window. Some of us been through that stage, right? And then when he did this happen so many times, he decided that I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm going to pay attention in class. I'm going to talk to my friends because every time I stand outside, people make fun of me. So from the following week onwards, he stayed very quiet. The friend want to kind of chocho him. He also don't want to, talk to the person. Then he start to, pay attention. And Miss Tan realized, hey, there's a difference. This thing work. Question, did this particular 11-year-old boy change his personality? Okay, next question is a crucial question. Do you think during recess and PE time and going home time, will he revert back to his original self? Yes. So there is but what changed? Thank you very much. Behavior. Correct. No, what? Okay, I understand what, because this is like people who are trying to change a habit. You need about 21 days. But this one is slightly different because personality. What we're saying is that the innate, then you're born. You don't become overnight an extrovert or overnight introvert. Do you understand what I'm saying? The reason why we look different or we behave differently is because of behavior. Because behavior is 10% of our personality. Only 10% of our personality. What drives our behavior is innate. That means it's inside, which is our what? Our innate superpower. So personality don't change, but your behavior change to adapt to the situation. In this case, the 11-year-old changed their behavior to adapt. But here's the thing. There's a reason why you need to find your authentic self. Why? Because if you change your behavior just to live up to your brand, which is not you, over time, you will encounter something called stress. Now, a little stress is good. I used to run program for HBB, the Health Promotion Board. A little stress is good. But when you get too much stress, then it becomes, something that you need to like mental stress, or it could be physical stress. Okay? Thank you. That's nice. Okay. Okay, thank you so much for your attention and questions. I hope this has been beneficial to you. This is Jeff from SIT. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jeffrey, so much.
Is there
Yes.
anything? Oh, they need. Okay.
Yeah, thank you, Jeffrey. I
Thank you.
had for giving us a fresh perspective
Thank you.
of how to present ourselves. And for everyone here, unfortunately, this is the end of our workshop for today. If this is your last workshop for the day, kindly help us to share some feedback with us through this QR code. And please do visit the exhibition booth that is outside. Okay. There is a complimentary ice cream and beverage if you actually join us on NUS.scale Instagram. Yep. So enjoy the rest of the festival, everyone.
Enjoy. Thank you.